Bonjour, Osmoklish Nikas, Mekwanan Dotan, Nangashing and Donji, on opportunity Nitanish Navamasi, opportunity Nandamamani BJAG on Niniyug to come to our workshop. So my name is Lorraine Seymour, and I have a master's in social work and doing a bit of research on sexual wellness and targeting men, specifically syphilis, because of the high rates of syphilis. So that is why we started doing, we're having conversations here at the Sexual Wellness Lodge, and we're figuring out that the rates are pretty high with men, and babies were being born, and it was just like, in 2025, that's just not okay, and it's so simple to fix. So we started having those conversations, Laverne and I, and we decided that let's target a men's group to, bring down the rates. So that's how the idea came up. And then using, of course, our indigenous traditional methodologies and our teachings of honesty. So that's the one that just kept coming up is Sabe. So that's why we targeted the group to come in, made our posters, and Connie Ganajic was so supportive. Feast and McMaster University are very supportive, and John and I worked really good together. And Don Robinson came in and did our opening and closing, so we said it in such a good way, and we had such a good response from the men. So that's how I just wanted to start.
In a community, to learn together and to meet together and to laugh together. And help us today.
So my name is Lorraine Seymour, and I'm a researcher. And one of the things I wanted to research was, because I work in the sexual wellness field, right? So this is the Sexual Wellness Center of Connie Ganajic, and we take care of people's sexual wellness, sexual needs. And then not only that, but we also do a spiritual wellness for them. We have smudge, we have everything you need, not just your physical needs. We only want to help you with your spiritual wellness also. So that's why we're using one teaching of Sabat to help us kind of narrow down. The problem is, and I'll say it straight up, there's a syphilis epidemic with men in your demographic between 19 and 45. So that really concerned me because I have a lot of men in my family in that age group, and I want to make sure that everybody's educated, everybody knows the consequences of not having safe sex. So in these little books that we're going to give you, I'm just going to give you a little question about that, and then you could tell me to my face, you could tell me on camera, or you could just write it in your book and send it to me and I'll listen. That's what I asked for the research. And our gift to you is like, we'll have a small little gift and an honorarium, third honorarium. We have a chef coming in. His name is Jade Bucklands, and he's a certified chef today and tomorrow. And just a couple little gifts, and then you have your Sabe, something to reflect on as you live your life in the best way you can as an honest man. Yeah, that's why I'm here. And I'm not going to be doing spoke stoning. I'm a bead worker myself, so I want to be beading, it's encouraging and everything. And this is for men. So I really, really appreciate you guys coming, because in the beginning I only had my family.
What did you learn from the men that you talked with here in the room when you had the one-on-one conversations? What came up for you?
Well, first I was a bit uncomfortable to ask them about sex even, like, because this is a sexual wellness now, so we always have to keep it down to why are we here, and they were so open and agreeable to do what we asked and engage and provide feedback. What I did notice is that they didn't want to share their journal entries, because yesterday I asked them a question in their journal book, what does Sabe mean to you in terms of sexual wellness? What does Sabe mean to you in terms of bringing down the rates of syphilis? And that kind of questioning, depending, because we would converse first before I would ask them to identify a question, because I really wanted to assess if there were, I just wanted to see if they're, where, at what level they would be able to speak to me about sexual wellness and syphilis without crossing boundaries and causing harm. So I had to really get that feeling from them. But then after reflection last night, I was like, did I go too far? But according to the journals and the responses I got from the guys today, like, no, it was good. They were okay. What they did was they answered their question in their journal, and then they let me take a picture of their answer. And that was it. That's all. We didn't have to go deep into any of the traumas or anything like that. It was about sobbing and having fun. So that's what I learned. And that I could do it. That's what I figured out, because I wasn't scared to do it. Like, who am I thought to talk to grown men about sex, you know? I was scared. I didn't want to injure them, and I didn't want to cause myself any unsafety. But I think Dawn just set the tone yesterday, and it was just so beautiful. Like, I really enjoyed watching the men make the sorbet, their sorbet, and they're proud, and I don't know. That was really, really awesome to me.
Yeah, the conversations were really interesting. All the conversations that people were having outside while they were working, and to watch people, like the way people converse while they're working is so different because it's more natural. You know, like
Yeah.
everybody's working on something, and then people are talking about, well, politics,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And there are times in being incarcerated.
And lots of ghost stories. People were telling lots of ghost stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
This seeing Sabe.
seeing sorbet, yeah. Because he doesn't want to be seen, yeah.
Well, before you were talking about how men would respond sort of negatively to the word syphilis, or they'd kind of shut you down when talking about that topic. Did you feel that this time with
I
this
didn't
group?
feel it at all here at all. And I think it was because of the way Dawn opened it up. And it was so safe.
Yeah, and quite a few people from the neighborhood dropped by too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we ran out of food again. Yesterday we ran out of food. Yeah, so that's another thing I learned is like we have to have a lot more food.
Mm.
Yeah. Food for 30 people, because I said 15. So that's what he made for 15, because that's how much we were registered. We fed a lot of people. Like, people didn't leave hungry. So that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people from the community came, seen the tarp. So they came to see what's going on. They're used to this center having food, so they came and they got food.
And lube. Somebody asked for some lube.
Oh.
Okay, that's some lube.
Lube, yeah. And immediate effect. The guys I were talking to, they're going to come get tested with their wives this week. So, and no shame, just like, I'm coming to get tested, I'm on, easy.
Yeah. So maybe it's not so much about like shame and stigma as it is about making it convenient and accessible. Like if people have more options and they know what the options are, maybe shame and stigma aren't as important.
Yeah.
If they know there's a safe place in
Yeah.
the neighborhood to go.
They're all very, very impressed with the medicine. Yeah, so that's the thing, yeah. The different lands. Oh, syphilis through an indigenous lens? Mm. And then I showed them the beadwork yesterday, and then they reflected on the beadwork and then answered their own questions about sexual wellness. It was good. They let it. That's the thing, eh? They let it.
Yeah. Even when you were talking about that injury, that somebody almost losing their penis because of syphilis, and the way people absorb that, and it was, I thought, not as scary, because it seems like it's a really scary thing, but people didn't react to it as in fear, more just concern, and yeah. I thought it was-
Yeah, because he was talking about how good it was he had in Headingley. So I shared that horror story about that guy in Headingley almost losing his penis. next time you don't want to brag about Headingley, think about that, I said to him. And I know they will. Yeah, so laughter too.
A lot of laughter.
Teasing.
And everybody's so helpful. Everybody's so sweet and helpful.
Yeah.
Working with, helping with the chairs and the tables and.
What can I do to help you? Yeah, so helpful. Want to come back? Call them again next time we do something. Yeah. It was good. I really enjoyed it. Soft, but effective. Yeah.
So when the
Target?
normal files.
Oh yeah.
This is John Sawbear. Look at that. It's the size of this beaded. At first I was like, women were coming and, the wives of the men were coming to check, and I'm like, I felt bad initially because I turned down so many women to come. Like that was the first response, was women wanting to come in and say, no, this is just for men. And even again today, the woman that picked up her son, she goes, can you make one for women? I wanted to come. I said, but we're trying to target men right now because they're excluded a lot, like, the cis men, I said. And she understood. She said, yeah, we'll wait for women. And then, yeah. So that was, when the women came, and I'm like kind of a little funny about it and getting all sketchy and everything. And then you calmed me down. We're not, I don't know what you said. You said, we're not going to be that hard ass or something. I said, yeah, it's not.
Do you think having women in the group would change the dynamic?
I think it did for my boys, because that was their wives. That was my oldest son's wife and my son-in-law and my grandson's mom that came. And they all, we're of that family where we always support each other through everything. But I thought they knew that it was just for the guys. But I know it changed the dynamic and what they were talking about. They wouldn't talk about sex openly with their wives there.